What's up, guys? Mr. Hansen 414. We're going to go over some equations today, specifically a lot of multi-step. So whenever we're working with equations, we're trying to solve the equation to get the variable by itself so you know what it equals to, so you know what value for the variable will make the equation balance. So I always like to start off with the train track, and then I come down and I put my x equal to something. This is where I'm going. I'm not done until I have the variable equal to a number. So for this equation, I see I got a lot going on. I got variables on both sides of the equation. I got multiple variables on the left side. I got distributive property, and that's what I'm gonna start with, is simplifying using the distributive property. So I'm gonna take this 2, and I'm gonna multiply it by the 3x, and I'm gonna multiply it by the -6. So, distributive property says take the number on the outside of parentheses and multiply it by everything on the inside. So I'm not gonna do anything with this 5x yet, so it just comes on down. But then I get 2 times 3x, which is a 6x. We multiply the number with the coefficient, which is 3. 2 times a -6 is a -12. And there's nothing else on the left-hand side. That's all good to go. So then I move over to the right side, and I didn't do anything, so it just comes on down for the ride. So looking at this, I see the left side, I got 2 x terms. I got a 5x and a 6x, and they're both positive, so I'm just going to combine them, or CLT. So 5x plus 6x is 11 x's. Drop down that 12, bring everything else down, we didn't do nothing. So I'm starting to get close to the answer, but I still got variables on both sides of the equation, and I don't want that. What I want to do is move one to the other side. It doesn't really matter which one you move. I like moving the small one, because then it usually keeps me from getting extra negatives, and I don't need any more negativity in my life. So I'm going to drop that 3x by subtracting it from both sides. We're getting all the x's on the left-hand side of this equation, but it could have been on the right. We get 8 x's. There's 11 minus 3. Drop down the -12, drop down the 18. Now we have a 2-step equation. Before you undo this multiplication, you got to undo the subtraction by adding 12 to both sides. We add 12 to both sides, that makes a 0. We get 8x equals 30. Now, we already can probably tell if we know our multiples at 8. This is probably going to have a messy answer, but that's okay because life is messy and so are numbers. To get rid of multiplication, we're going to divide by 8 on both sides. That's going to make a 1x that simplifies to 1, which is x. And we get 30 divided by 8, and you could just leave it like that. Personally, I want to clean it up. I know I can divide both of these numerator and denominator by 2 because they're both even numbers. I'm going to get a 15/4. So that is my solution. That is my answer. If I plug this back in and do all the math, the left side would equal the right side. We'll do another one in a minute. Okay, guys, so this equation is another one that we're struggling with. This has a lot going on, so I want to read it out loud. So this is 3x minus 5 all divided by 4. But then we're adding 7 to all of that equals -2x plus 1. So again, I'm going to start with the train track. I'm going to bring my variable down because I'm not done until I have x equals a number. Now, for this one, usually we want to get rid of division first, but because we're not dividing by the whole side, and I don't want to make a mistake with my multiplication, I'm going to get rid of the 7 first. And so that's a +7. I'm going to subtract 7 from the left side and the right side because we've got to keep it balanced. And we're going to get 3x minus 5 equals, divided by 4 equals -2x, and then it's 1 minus 7. So if you're 1 foot above the ground and you go down 7, you're going to end up 6 feet under, which is what happens if you fail math. And then we're going to subtract 6 on both sides. Subtract 6 from the side. I'm talking a little fast, I'm slow down. So, on this left side, before I can start touching what's in the numerator, I got to get rid of the denominator. And you get rid of division by multiplication, so I'm going to put the whole left side in parentheses. I'm going to put the whole right side in parentheses, because if I multiply the left side by 4, I got to multiply everything on the right side by 4. I can't be choosy, and some of you guys on this one, you're choosy and you only multiply one part. You got to do everything. 4 divided by 4 just simplifies to 1. That's what we want. Bring down 3x minus 5. Left side's looking good, nice and clean. On the right-hand side, it doesn't matter that the 4 is on this side. We're going to distribute the 4. Multiply by everything on the inside. We get a negative times a positive, a negative times a positive, -8x, -24. Now, if I follow what I said last time and I move the smaller variable, I'm going to move the -8x because that's going to clear out my negatives. So to move a -8x to the other side, I got to add it. That's the opposite. So I'm going to add 8x to both sides. That's going to make an 11x minus 5. That's equal to negative 24. Almost done. Down to a 2-step. We can all do these. To get rid of a negative 5, you got to add 5 to both sides. When you add 5 to both sides, that's going to make a 0. That's going to be 11x equals a negative 19, because if you are negative $24 in debt and you add $5 to it, you only owe $19. And again, this is going to be ugly, and that's okay. Ugly numbers are okay. I mean, you guys are here. No one's saying you shouldn't be around. X equals negative 19 over 11, because that number does not simplify at all. That's approximately negative 2, and that is the solution for this equation. If you plug it in, it'll make the left side equal the right side. Shout out MSIS football. That's Mr. Hansen 414. If you need some more help, let me know what you need in the comments. See you later.